conversation for the great and gifted. That's why they looking at me crazy when I'm in the mirror. I recall in the past when they passed on me, now they gotta hit the email and get the secretary clearance just to ask for me. I'm a black man, so I'm born to improvise. Had a 9 to 5, left that and built an enterprise.
All right, guys, I wanted to bring you here together today, obviously, to give you guys your flowers now rather than later for everything you guys did in the city and the community, as far as free education for hundreds of kids and putting guys in the NBA, and just what you guys do as AAU directors as a whole over programs, whether it's you, Winfred, with Atlanta Express, or you, Hulio, with Atlanta Celtics, and Des, who started Game Elite, and just starting grassroots and the culture as a whole in the city of Atlanta. So I want to start with you, Des. How did you get started?
Like I said, we got similar stories, really. We all started through Wallace Prather, and I had a team from Wheeler, like 2000. The high school team, we wanted to keep them together. And what Coach Prather did was everywhere that the Celtics were, he made sure that our team played there. And he kind of groomed me along the way, gave me a lot of introductions, you know what I mean? And the relationships that I met with him just springboard to where we are now. Like, everything started with Coach Prather.
So we'll go with you, Winfred. Obviously, he said he came from Coach Prather. We'll go Hulio last because he's still with the Celtics. Obviously, all you guys seem to came out the Atlanta Celtics. So Winfred, what about you? How'd you get started?
The great Wallace Prather, as they said. We pay a lot of homage and respect to Wallace, because without him, none of this would be anyway. But in 1997, the fall of '97, as we tell the story, a guy by the name of Nard Hudson and Tommy Slaughter had some teams, and I had a 10 on the team in Broadwood, north side of Atlanta. Even though I was a southwest side kid, me and Wallace got together and joked and laughed. He told me, I said, well, Coach, I want to put a team in the program. He said, yeah. He said, you think you're ready? I said, yeah, Coach, we got a good team. Now keep in mind, I'm on the north side of Atlanta and I'm beating everybody. So I think I got a good team. So he said, I'm gonna give you these two numbers. I want you to call these two guys and set up scrimmages. So I called Nard, I called Tommy Slaughter. I get with Nard. Nard at halftime up by 50. Take the clock, set the clock back to 0-0. Beat me by 50 again, right? Get with Tommy, same thing happened. That spring of 1998, my son went and played with Tommy Slaughter, with Celtics, great, legends, Vars Creatine. They was young, they played together. And that's where I began. I went on and coached with Nard for years and did some good things with the Celtics and enjoyed it. And that's where it began for me.
What about you, Hulio?
Similar, same guy, Tommy Slaughter. Tommy's a childhood friend of mine. We grew up together. He was I think like 2 years older than me, but we went to the same high school, same neighborhood. So I was back when I was hanging around the neighborhood. He tricked me into coming to go to a practice with him. I want you to look at these kids. You know what I'm saying? And obviously he knew I was gonna fall in love with him when I got in there. So, we get in there and he got all these bright ideas. We can take them here, do this, do that, this and that, and I end up paying for everything. So, but I fell in love with it. Then about a year or two after that, Tommy was diagnosed with cancer, and he became ill. And at that time, when that happened, kind of like Wallace stepped in, was paying attention to the group a little more because they was extremely good with Javaris Crittenton, like you say, Winfred son, Kier, Spud, and all those guys. And, you just start paying them attention. So he started just dealing with me more, and it kind of blossomed from there.
So obviously, you guys have 3 prominent programs in the city and all across the country, have sent a lot of kids to school and so forth. But you guys have also been with NBA players. You directly with Anthony Edwards, Chris Singleton. You directly with, amongst others, Dwight Howard, Josh Smith, directly with Zion Williamson, Jaylen Brown. Talk to us a little bit about, having those sort of elite kids and what goes into it and everything. How was it, being directly close to people that are, great in the NBA and stuff.
You gonna start with me? Well, I mean, it's more so like a mentorship, and you become an extended part of the family. You become family. You know what I mean? There's components to it where it's bigger than basketball, especially for the ones that are special, because you want them to be productive citizens of society. So you want to teach them things, you want to nurture them, but you also want to shelter them from the riffraff, and it's a whole lot of vultures, a whole lot of riffraff. So you know what I mean. You just got to be grounded, and you just got to stay focused, and they got to trust in you. That's the key, because if they don't have any trust in you, then it's going all fall apart eventually.
Speak a little bit about it on Winfred.
I'm gonna circle back to where you first started that question.
Yeah.
I think all the players we've had have been elite. I think the unique thing about the three of us, gentlemen, is we've always supported one another. Guys try to turn us against one another. It never manifested. Example, it's been times that Hulio's sitting in the stands and I'm coaching against a team, and hey man, it's been time Dez even pulled me out and said, hey man, get your head back right. Let's go. Come on, you got me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think all of our kids have been unique. I think we've supported us, one another, wherever they was playing, whatever they was doing. When you talk about the kids that made it to be professional, that was God-given. You know what I mean? He put us in a place to try to stir them and guide them in the right direction. And like G said, keep the vultures away from them. Very harmful space, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think all those kids have been elite and unique, you know what I mean? The most important thing that all of us fight for every day, you talked about 6 pros when you named them.
Yeah.
But we put hundreds of kids in college.
For
And
sure.
I think that was the bigger feat when you talk about elite basketball and what we stand for and what our cause and purpose is.
Absolutely.
For a lot of those kids, it's they all are humble, and it's, I think that's kind of like the most gratifying part, because one of the biggest things that I speak on today is a lot of the kids that came through the program, that went on to be successful. They still come back, come back around, and they still hang around. And it's, like even for the younger generation, it's, and it's just, like come from humble beginnings. It's I'm glad I ain't never been in a situation to where you have to deal with somebody that's just kind of like a live wire, just like they feel like they better than what they actually are, and just just all over the place. So
For me, it's like I wouldn't be here or have the platform I have now without the three of y'all. Like Tiff and I wouldn't have the opportunity that we have now to put on a college event or put on a national high school showcase if it wasn't for you guys. Winfred, I got started with you for the most part and learned so much from you and Darby as you guys took me under your wings and just taught me a lot as far as the game and being an extension of you learning so much from you and just being thrown, like I said, in the fire up at Pitt Jam Fest when you was like, okay, Chris, I need you to coach this weekend, and coaching guys like MJ Walker at Florida State or Darrell Moore or D'Angelo Purifoy and that talented team we had with Terrence Phillips and all those guys. And just learning a lot from you then, and then going over to the Nike side, being swooped up by Dez after walking out of Lake Point and introducing me to the three-stripe life.
I remember that conversation, man.
I do too. I do too.
Hey, Hulio, I asked that man, I said, you got a Rolls Royce team there, young fella. But what you gonna do after they gone?
That's true. That's true.
I said you got to position yourself to meet some people, man.
We came out the gym. We was 16 playing up 17s.
Yeah.
Beat Game Elite 17s at the time, and this was right before EYBL started, and Dez met us outside. He was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm like, what? He said, yeah, I'm going to do this. You're going to meet me here. I'm going to put you on the phone with this person, and that's how we're going to do it. And that's how I got introduced to Chris Rivers and coming over to the Adidas side, and then even Hulio. You supported everything Tiff and I have accomplished over the last couple of years and helping us bridge that gap with Adidas and that relationship directly with those guys out in Portland as well. But as like Juice said earlier, AAU gets a bad rap. as far as in the community in the city. But obviously, like you said, Winfred, you've put a ton of people into college who probably wouldn't get there, who come from single parent homes, and you going to getting free education for 6 figures, over $100,000 at every school in the country for the most part. Let's talk about that. Like, you know, as many guys as you guys and all put in college, and kids coming from poor income homes or low income homes. Let's talk about how that got it to come to fruition.
I mean, well, that's easy. If you can help a family, help a kid become a productive citizen in society, I mean, like Hulio said, it's gratifying. I mean, you only gonna get but so much pros. You know what I mean? So if you in it for the pro game, then shit, you might as well be playing craps. You know what I mean? Like, right? This shit is about, for me, it's about helping my community. You know what I mean? Instilling in our youth values, something that's going to help them become productive, and hopefully they can in turn teach it to their kids and so forth and so on. Because we as African Americans, we fall short, you know what I mean, in every aspect of life, because we just don't have the tools, you know what I mean, to become successful. Or I shouldn't say tools or know-how, we don't have the relationships to become successful. So now we can use basketball as a conduit, and it's gonna take me from here, and it's gonna take me here. You know what I mean? And for our kids in our program, that's the first thing I tell them. You know what I mean? Let this round ball, first thing you gotta do is put the brown thing in the round thing. You know what I mean? That's the first thing you gotta do. But let this round ball take you places that you never thought or imagined you'll be. You know what I mean? And for every kid in our program, even the kid on the end of the bench, because if you've made it to our program, you're gonna go someplace. You know what I mean? You for the most part, I got a lot of kids, it's the first time they ever been on the planes with us.
Yeah, yeah. I can speak to it because we coach with Game Elite, and Des will do workouts, and it'll be 3-4 teams in there, 3-4 age groups, and the whole time, not only are you getting taught about basketball, you're getting cussed out, you're getting taught about life. Like, you get, all of those things are happening at one time. And a lot of times, like you said, people talk about, you know, hey, you getting a bad rap and so forth. But a lot of times, and I know it's not just Des, and I'm sure you guys instill it as well, you know, literally in our practices, if something's going on with a kid and his character or something like that, we gonna stop and we gonna talk to this kid about how he's working out, why he's lagging behind, and things like that. Talk to us a little bit about the discipline and so forth that you have to instill in these kids to try to get them to the next level.
The bad press that a lot of AAU, you know what I mean, guys and directors and stuff get, you know, because of all the good that they do. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying, that, you know, people point out 1 or 2 negatives, but they leave out the thousands of positives. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, I'm sure all of us, you know, we done took time away from our own personal kids, food at our own house, you know what I'm saying? Like, and all this to help others. And you got to think, like, when I started at John F. Kennedy Recreation Center, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that was because I'm from the west side of Atlanta. Like, that was the rec center in my neighborhood. And it was basically just to help my community, you know what I'm saying? Kids that I knew they couldn't afford to go here, go there, and, you know what I mean, to do things. So I was just giving back to my neighborhood. And, you know, at that time, you know what I mean, like, I would help parents out, you know, they don't have groceries, you know, kids don't have coats, school shoes, you know, I wasn't getting sponsored at the time. You know, this was just out my pocket, you know what I mean? And you don't know about who's gonna be what, like, this kid is gonna be this, that kid gonna be that. No, you know, the only thing you wanna make sure is these kids don't turn to the streets. Like, they ain't, you know what I mean, going looking for another outlet to try to help their family and provide for themselves, doing things that they shouldn't do. So you want to kind of like guide them and lead them on the right track. Like, that's what my initial reason, you know what I'm saying, for getting started for. But, you know, all that gets lost, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't forget to tell those stories when they talk about everything else. And, you know, I'm just one of many, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody does the same thing. I'm not the only one that does it, you know what I'm saying? But they don't talk about that, you know what I mean? I think it's a gripes I had, you know, as far as like a couple of years ago, it was with LeBron. He was telling the same thing, you know, he had the same type of story for as far as like AAU, you know what I mean? Like casting a negative light. Like you got the most powerful voice in sports, casting a negative light on this platform, but at the same time, you know what I mean? Like we all know his story as far as his mother going from place to place. You know, AAU coach had to take him in, have him stay with them to give them, you know what I'm saying, some stability. You know what I'm saying? Help get them in school, keep them going, this and that. And that's what kind of like gave him a foundation to be who he is today. Now, how could you sit there and say, you know what I'm saying, the same thing that helped you is just so corrupt and you know what I mean? Like, I had a problem with that, but you know.
Without that AAU coach, we don't know LeBron James.
That's right. And rest in peace to Kobe, but he did the same thing.
Absolutely.
When he was
Kevin Garnett did the same thing,
Yes.
and they all came through the same channels. You know what I mean? And
From
they-
South Carolina, Chicago.
from South Carolina, Chicago. But you know what? And none of them had a negative story with AAU. It's something that they're hearing someone else say about. You know what I mean? So I don't know how they.
Because the AAU experience helped them propel to be whom they became in life.
It's an easy target. You know what I'm saying? It's an easy target.
I think the other thing that, as you talk to us and talk about the kids that we put in college,
Yeah.
people forget or assisted. We didn't put anyone anywhere.
course.
We
But
assisted.
your DNA is in
them.
there.
Right,
Your
right.
But we
DNA is in
assisted.
that kid.
We assisted.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is the subliminal message where I think we really forget where it really comes from. People, college coaches that choose not to want to interact with us and want to interact with the high school coaches. I'm gonna go here, and some people may disagree, and be on camera, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think it becomes a white-black thing. The white-black thing is we know there's more white head coaches than black head coaches.
Absolutely.
We are not weak Afro-American men. So when you come and communicate with us, we educate our kids and our parents on right and wrong and what to decipher as you're making this college decision, right? Whereas before, they don't have that challenge.
Yeah.
They go straight to the kid and the mama. Most of the time it's a single black mom. She don't know. They manipulate them however they want to, right?
100 car salesman at
There you go. Now you take high school and AAU guys and you put this subliminal message out there, and that's where it come from.
Totally. Yeah.
You got 3 of us in here. We don't have no problem with our high school coaches.
Yeah.
We got kids all over the state of Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and it's not an issue.
Yeah.
The subliminal issue, but what I think it came from, where that negative connotation come from, is the subliminal messages we put there for control. For control from the white college coaches' point of view. That's my thought.
Yeah.
Because it's Hulio put it out there, but people all over the country in our roles do the same thing for these kids. You know what I mean? And we don't know Anthony Edwards going to be Anthony Edwards, Chris Singleton going to be Chris Singleton, Dwight Howard and Josh Smith and those guys, and Jalen Brown and Zion Williams. We got an idea, but we've had other kids that were just as good or better. You know what I mean? So we don't know that. We're doing it out of the kindness of our heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's something we want to do. And it wasn't something we chose. It chose us.
Yeah.
The passion that we give to it is something different. So knowing who we are as black men and the energy we put into it, like Hulio said and Dad said, we give way more than we could ever receive from this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, you had Ant-Man since 8th grade, right?
8th grade.
And he went to your high school.
Yep.
There. Went to your high school.
Yep.
And the fact that he stayed with you 8th grade all the way to where he is now, dunking on cats and getting the top player.
Ooh, did you see that? Jesus
The top
Christ.
player tonight.
Crazy.
And you had him all the way through high school, helping guide, like you said, assist with all his decisions as far as going to school. And even, obviously, let's just be transparent. Where Ant went to school at, his original school, it wasn't the best part of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
But the fact that he had you there as his mentor and his athletic director, his AAU director, his AAU head coach, and got him to where he is now, where he's a millionaire and be a millionaire 10 times now because of where he is. Like, without you, I'm not gonna say without you he wouldn't got there, but with you, he got there with a straight and narrow, easier path. So when you have a kid like that, and we all seen Ant since he was younger, that we knew he had something in him. He had that dog in him.
Yeah.
He was a very coachable kid. He's not that bark back and not listen type kid, no hard head. So it's kind of like, it was easy for you, like Hulio would say, when you have a kid like that's not against the grain, and you assisted him. How did that process go?
Well, the process was not as easy as you may have think. But it was good for me because it helped me to become a better man.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Anthony, as we know, didn't have an adult in his life. Right. So when I stepped in, keep in mind this was trying to me because we both attended Thurl High School. Right. So he's in Thurl High School. I walk in the school. People that I've attended school with are still in the school and doing things with the kid.
Yeah.
What I saw was Anthony was raising himself.
Right.
He for him to grow and become. And at the time when I got him, he was in 8th grade. No thought in my mind about NBA.
Right.
You know what I mean? Matter of fact, he wasn't even on the top 20 in the state of Georgia at the time. But putting him in a better environment, so the Holy Spirit situation came up.
Yeah.
And I figured this will give him a little discipline and a little diversity. You know what I mean? He can be around different cultures because I think what we heard at in today's society is I was watching a special the other day, and they said that we as blacks have always had to learn who the white person was. We had to do that to be safe and feel free. But they've never had to learn who we was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so with Anthony, that's what I wanted him to be, because I can see the dominance in him, but I always can see what Hulio and Des talked about. If you didn't guide him this way, he was gonna be this way. And whatever he was gonna do, he was gonna try to be the best at it.
Right.
So I had to guide him this way to get him that way. So it was good for me to help me be a better man and a better person. And it turned out to be great for him.
Very true.
It's just funny he said that. Whatever he do, he gonna be the best. He did that interview the other day. He was like, if I was a janitor, we clean up on aisle 4.
Obviously, let's talk about this. Over the last couple of years, I say 5 years, we've put, or the city and the state has put a lot of guys in the league. Wendell Carter, Colin Saxton, Ant-Man, Ashton. I would say arguably we've had one of the better cities in the state for high school basketball. Yeah. But I don't think that comes without you three having, as being AAU directors of
We're
major.
considered the mecca of grassroots high school basketball in the United States of America.
Correct.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Like you said earlier, it's very rare that we can go to any other city and get 3 different directors from 3 different programs in the same room to even have this conversation. But like going back to what you said, it's because we all support one another to even make this even come to fruition. So
and support one another, but the key word he said is the foundation in which we come from. We respect one another.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you think that comes from the fact that you all started with Wallace Prather, or just
You're right.
Is that a
Me personally, that's something, but I think when I said that, I mean like before that. You know what I'm saying? Like our the upbringing. You know what I'm saying? Like how we grew up, the things we probably were introduced to early in life. You know what I'm saying?
And we did not want them to have to endure what we had.
Yeah, so and I think that's, respect is big on all levels. You know what I'm saying? Like when I always try to give respect. You know what I mean? Like I never want to disrespect anybody because I want respect in return. You know what I'm saying? Because, like in this generation we're in a new generation where, people are very disrespectful. And you know what I mean? Sometimes you kind of as you get older and more mature, you try to kind of take yourself out of those rooms because, sometimes things can go places that you don't want it to go. So, to avoid all of that, me, myself, I'd rather let me just go over here. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's, and I think amongst us 3, it's kind of like we cut from the same cloth of, respect to one another, have morals, high character, like it's, like me and Des, it's been times, with certain different kids, like if play with him, play with me, like they might go to him, they might go to me, but we gonna talk about it, like, look, this, woo, 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 you know what I mean? Ain't no trying to go behind nobody back doing that, but and I think if a lot of dudes kind of acted the same way, it'll be better than what it is, amongst the state. But a lot of people different, you know what I'm saying? Like they They just who they are.
You talk about respect and on the level of you guys, having the same kids or trying to get the same kids. It was so funny. Last year, probably around this time, I'm going down to Chattahoochee, Alabama. What's it called? And the first person I see, I'm trying to get J.D. Davidson. First person I see in the gym.
All the way down there.
All the way 3-4 hours from Atlanta. He's sitting there in the cut like this. And we just laugh. We might laugh for like 2 minutes. Like
only somebody from Atlanta gonna recognize it.
Man, it's crazy.
Celtics is one of the older programs in the country,
Yeah.
and it's on Adidas. Game leaders on Adidas, 2 respected programs on Adidas. Winfred, you're on the Under Armour. I know from when I was over there, you have very tight ties with the people directly with Under Armour, and you're one of the stronger programs on the UA circuit. I would say you and Jeff McGinnis, those guys, which is both African Americans.
Right.
So tell me about how you left the Celtics and then you started with Atlanta Express, with the Under Armour deal, and where you are now. What do you have going on now as far as how many programs and age groups and stuff?
Well, this will be my 13th season with Under Armour. We have probably 18 teams starting from 4th grade on to 17s. We just actually added a girls program this year. I think we got like 6-7 teams there with the girls program. Having been with the Celtics, even though it was 13 years ago, it's different. I always tell people when teams are recruiting kids, and in the beginning you're recruiting the same kids, that Nike and the first thing people always scream is EYBL.
Yeah.
I'm a native of Georgia, so when I was 17, 18 years old, I remember them having the Peach State Classic in Augusta, Georgia. So what they did is they created something, they put it somewhere, and the subliminal message is supposed to be the best. You know what I mean? And I tell people that the years I was with the Celtics, I know for 10 to 15 years, it was nothing better in the country. The level of talent, the level of competition, and the difference today when you isolate the shoe companies is everybody don't get to play basketball at a competitive level. When we all were together, Reebok, Adidas, Nike, we all played each other in the same arena, same gym, same whatever events it was. Under Armour is growing to a point. They're new in basketball, so it doesn't happen overnight. But it's been an unbelievable journey in a short period of time for basketball for Under Armour. We currently have 30 teams.
Okay.
So it's just a work in progress, but it's been very positive. The guys in the upper levels are very happy about what's going to take place in the future. They put a blueprint in place, and we're happy with it moving forward.
That's good. Going back to the bad rap that, guys like LeBron and Kevin Garnett came out speaking on AAU, with us all here now in the same room, what can we do moving forward to
Change that narrative.
change the narrative, and control the narrative as a whole, as far as painting it in a positive light?
I mean, changing the narrative is not going to take place with what we do, because we're not the ones putting out that narrative. That narrative is coming from, people that don't even know what's going on. You know what I mean? And that's the case. We need to just continue doing what we're doing, continue to raise productive citizens, successful young men, continue to teach them values, morals, like Hulio said, bring them back to, a place where when they go somewhere else, nobody don't have to question who raised them. Right. You know what I mean? And that's the key right now with kids nowadays. You know what I mean? The first thing you're going to say when they do something crazy, like, yo, who raised you, man? Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because, if you was raised by somebody that cares about you, then you wouldn't be even involved in some of the shit that you involved in. You wouldn't even be saying some of the shit you say, even on social media, to a person, not to a person, about a person. So I think if we continue to instill those values in the kids that we touch, then, it's going to continue to grow in the manner that it is. And the people that's doing the speaking, they don't know what the fuck going on anyway.
Right. Touching bases on like you said, social media. Now, obviously, you guys been in the game for a while, and it's changed totally as far as like the media on AAU and the highlight tapes and the articles, the footage the kids get? Is it easier now to, as you guys, to get your kids where you want them to be as far as the offers, the exposure, the scholarships now than it was back then when there wasn't as much of a social media platform around high school or grassroots basketball?
Yeah, what was the biggest difference between, 90s, early 2000s when we didn't have, like Chris is saying, what we didn't have? What's the biggest difference?
I think the only difference to me is that you have a whole new world of people having access to kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think, like, for as long as we've been in it, kids always got exposure. They always got the scholarship offers. But you know what I'm saying? Now before you had to be in the gym to see it. Now, you can sit in front of the computer and in 5 minutes out there, it's going to be circulating. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, everybody just got, they got just more access to the kids.
I think G said this, and both of them have said this. It takes away the humility and being humble with a kid. You can't maximize a kid's potential because you fight a battle realistically. Ninth graders.
Yeah.
A college coach offering a ninth grader. What? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Reality. It's not reality. You know what I mean? But now you got to deal with that kid and that parent in that journey and try to coach them and get them through that because now they think they're better than they actually are. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good thing and a bad thing, but I'm with Hulio. The accessibility kills it. You know what I mean? Because you got people reaching out to them with a bunch of nonsense, and so you can't keep them locked in and focused and keep them hungry and humble. So you spend a lot of time putting out a fire that shouldn't even be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, all three of you guys' programs do a lot in the community. Let's start with you, Hulio, with you being with the Celtics and being one of the oldest programs in the country. I know you guys did a lot in the community, especially since COVID happened, even prior to COVID. Share your thoughts on that as far as an AAU program, not just being about basketball, but being about education and being about the community. I know, Winfred, you do a lot of stuff with your nonprofit as well with education, but what the Celtics did in the community recently.
We big on education. Like in the past, not over the last couple of years, we used to partner with this company called Education is Life. You know what I mean? They helped us tremendously with getting tutors for kids and, providing academic help. And also, over the last couple of years, what I would do is have I've been blessed to have parents as teachers, you know what I'm saying? So as we travel, it's gonna be mandatory, for the kids to do maybe 45 minutes an hour SAT study prep, you know what I'm saying, when we on the road. They got to do that, in order to be able to play. And in the community, it's that's one thing I've always been big about. You know what I'm saying? I've always been big about giving back and just helping, helping my community. You know what I mean? We did a event down at the City of Refuge on Simpson Road, where it's a women and children shelter. We gave new shoes and backpacks to all the kids. You know what I'm saying? Displaced kids. That was over the Christmas holidays. Before that, we did another event on Bankhead called Unity in the Community. And in that, we fed, we gave 500 kids 500 families groceries. We did that through the Gooder Company. We also provided free COVID testing, voter registration and restoration, for people who's prior convicted as felons didn't know that they actually may be able to vote. You know what I'm saying? Also try to get them back into the vote, know that their vote counts. We had the NPU, the Neighborhood Planning Unit, they come out with letting everybody know different little things going on, you know what I'm saying, within the community. We had a game truck out there, just a lot of little things. I did that, like I say, on Bankhead. So I've always been that, and I'm always be whatever I can do to help, my own personal community and to any community as a whole. But mine is really near and dear to me. I also stepping outside of basketball, I bought like 15 homes, you know what I'm saying, in the same neighborhood that I grew up in, you know what I mean, and kind of like, trying to, uplift it, you know what I'm saying? Like my grandmother still lives over there. She has 3 properties over there in that same neighborhood.
You like
also.
restoring them?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, because it's
For a small fee.
it's like, and at the time, I started doing this before, like when they started like a lot of the gentrification and all this, this was before all this, because it's like, you come over there, it's boarded up, it's run down, you got, like drug addicts, like just hanging, sleeping in there. So it's like, let's
safe for the kids.
yeah, let's knock this out. Like if we don't do it, who's gonna do it? You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna get done.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like when people think of AAU, they just think about basketball. They don't think about all the stuff that you guys do off the court, in the community, or with the kids, like you said, with Ant-Man or Anthony Edwards, is making sure that he get the grades done, or the kids are keeping their grades up, or getting the stuff they need, whether it's school supplies or groceries, because they may be coming from a low income family. But everybody just see grassroots and AAU is just bouncing the ball, and like Dad said, putting the brown thing and the round thing is bigger than that. But obviously, let's talk about, it's Atlanta. I mean, we've put so many guys in the league where I think this year we had Isaac, Devin Vassell, and Ant-Man, top 3 in lottery pick, right?
Yeah.
And we've had a kid in the lottery, I would say, the last 5 years?
Probably.
And
so.
it's not just based off of just high school, but a combination of both.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing about that is, you say a combination of both, but that's what separates Atlanta and Georgia from all the other states is the trainers, high schools, AAU programs, even the media, they all work together. You know what I mean? And that's what allows our kids to get maximum effort throughout the country, no matter where they go, because we all are in it for the same thing. You know what I mean? Like I said, Julio's success is my success. You know what I mean? Julio say, you know what I mean? We just got a lottery pick. We going to roof Chris on him.
I had a kid move up here from Florida, a couple of years ago. At the time he was projected to be one of the better players. You know what I mean? Like, when he came up here, they was like looking for a high school. I sent him to Wheeler. You know what I'm saying? Where Dad's based out of. You know what I'm saying? His program. So everybody's like, why you sending him to Wheeler? Why not? You know what I mean? Like, man, I ain't worried about that. He in good hands over there. He gonna work them out all the time.
That's the
truth. You know what
truth.
I'm saying? So it's like, and they go back to respect for one another. You know what I'm saying? So it's everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody like get along with one another. Like, you know what I'm saying? We talk, you know what I'm saying, like amongst one another. Like, you know what I mean? Winfred the one get mad all the time when something go on. You know, he the firecracker.
Yeah, he got to talk Winfrey off the ledge. like, hold on, Winfrey, man. Let's go have a drink, man. Let's get something to eat, and we gonna discuss it. We gonna figure it out, man.
I mean, because of what you guys have said, if it wasn't for that platform of the AAU and the media and the high school, we wouldn't be able to pull off what we put off this year as far as bringing a college basketball event to the city for the first time in 20 years. Because everybody, when they think of Georgia outside of the people who live here, they think of football.
Yeah.
But they don't think about the AAU programs and how strong they are, or the guys that's come out of the AAU programs that go to the league, or even go be successful in college and have successful college careers. There's plenty of guys that you guys help get into college that's now working corporate America, but have good-ass jobs. But if it wasn't for basketball and you guys getting them into college or assisting with that, like Wu said, they wouldn't even be having those 6-figure jobs now, working at a Truist or Georgia Power or these Fortune 500 companies that we have here now. So it's like, that's why I wanted to get you guys together to thank you for everything you guys done for the African American community and grassroots community, for, like you said, Wu, from 4th graders all the way up through seniors in high school or even college right now.
It's true. I mean, you guys' DNA are throughout all these young men's lives. You know, all of the guys represented here have programs that come from young to old, and a lot of times they stick with us all the way through, or they might go over to him, or they might go over them. But 3 black men at the top, and you know, we got other guys in the city, but 3 black men at the top with you guys, level of respect and where you are in your communities and so forth is awesome for them to see. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you guys are the man in their life. You know what I mean? They might not have the father at home. You know, that's not the story all the time, but a lot of times it is, you know. And yeah, we just want to say, I mean, it's the job that you guys have done, you know, has been incredible. I wouldn't be able coaching without, you know, the guys, what you guys have put forward in the past and so forth. So we appreciate it.
Because truth be told, man, you guys are really blessings to a lot of kids.
Absolutely.
That's now and even moved on. They wouldn't have had that opportunity if it wasn't for the 3 of you guys, so being in their lives.
Right.
And that's why we wanted to bring you guys together. Just thank you for your accomplishments and your feats, that everything you guys have brought to the city, and just whether it's grassroots or AAU, whatever you want to call it, and that's on the court and off the court. Because like you said, I know the 3 of you personally, and I know if a kid is fucking up, y'all getting his ass, getting his chest, like, yo, get your shit together. And that's one thing that has to be, you know, appreciated at the end of the day, because it's bigger than basketball.
Absolutely.
Definitely is.
Well, Chris, thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
That's it.